Everyone, good morning. Welcome to this lecture on Introduction to NLP. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the definition of NLP, applications, key elements, various levels of NLP, and also steps involved in the process of natural language processing. Let's get started with what is NLP. So, NLP plays a very important role in multiple applications. It is a subfield of artificial intelligence. It combines linguistics and rule-based mechanism for processing natural language, statistical modeling. Sometimes people either prefer machine learning or deep learning to combine with some of these technologies. So it takes input uh, in the form of speech or text and process the data, textual data, and then converts it into a target language so that a computer can understand and generate output in some form. So any digital device or a computer system can recognize the input elements and understands and then generates some useful insights from the text or speech. So this is the core objective of NLP, natural language processing. It is widely used to bridge the communication gap between peoples or humans and computers, and humans to other digital devices. It is also used to train a large amount of data on some task, specifically to predict the next word for generating insights from the data. It makes use of contextual dependencies in order to effectively discover uh, useful insights and then generates relevant outputs. And now we will discuss some interesting applications of NLP. NLP is used for generating summary from the text or documents, and it is useful to the data scientist or decision maker to quickly learn and understand and the necessary things, and it helps them in making the decision. And then it is also used to generate a language, specifically for making the people to understand the target language. So it generates language, and then in spam detection to detect whether the message is spam or not, NLP is used for that. And then question answering, for example, ChatGPT is widely used for generating responses for the given query. So it is supported by the question answering mechanism. And then language modeling is another interesting application of NLP. It is also used to uh, predict the next word or phrases can be analyzed. Sentences can be analyzed to detect who said the speech or what is uh, conveyed in the text. So that can be uh, analyzed. Similarly, for detecting the fake news from a large collection of news articles, and in healthcare also, NLP is used to predict the disease names or disease pattern or symptoms that causes the disease. In medical NLP, we use natural language processing to do genome analysis, or we can also apply this for biological named entity recognition tasks. And in various bio NLP applications, we use NLP. And similarly, we have a application of this in financial analysis to analyze financial fraud from the textual data and some malicious attack. And also it is used to analyze the sentiment of people's emotions expressed in the text, whether the people is happy or unhappy in a particular situation. that can be analyzed. And now to classify the text also into predefined categories. For example, the text as sports text or entertainment or music or business news, something like that. We can classify the text into predefined categories using NLP. It is also widely used for language translation to translate one language into another, for example, Hindi to English or Tamil to English, like that. And ChatGPT virtual assistants are popular applications of NLP. We know it helps us to interact with the systems. People can pass query, they can get the response. Similarly, they can interact with others through the systems. And then speech recognition also, NLP is widely used for converting speech to text. It can also recognize a speech and then generate text that can be used as a search query to retrieve information. In information retrieval, we use NLP to analyze the content, large amount of documents, and then retrieve necessary information. For named entity recognition, NLP is used to detect different kinds of named entities, locations, names, organization names, or person names, disease names, or other chemical names and all. For topic modeling, we use NLP to model the words. We can also work with phrases. We can generate topics for a large amount of text, and then it is also used to deal with article processing. We'll now discuss some fundamentals of natural language. Natural language, for example, English, Tamil, there are 700 plus languages across the world, and in India there are um, 120 plus languages. So, analyzing the language from the data to understand and generate insights is an interesting task. So, in order to do that, researchers or natural language processing entities should be familiar with the fundamentals. They should know what is syntax. Syntax is specifically uh, represents the rules and structure of a language, arrangement of words, how it looks like using the grammatical structure, and morphological analysis is part of it, and also semantic analysis is part of the natural language processing to analyze the meaning behind words, phrases, or sentences. So morphology is a fundamental unit of natural language processing, which helps us to understand the structural pattern, structural representation of words, and the formation of words from the text. We also have another fundamental unit called phonology for sound representing sounds in language. We can use distinct units that are formed together to combine words. We can also use pragmatic analysis to study how the context play a key role in the interpretation of data. For example, the tone can be used to understand who said the speech or what music it is. Similarly, discourse analysis is another natural language component which helps us to connect multiple things together into a single unit. So it establishes a connection between the context of a language and also the ideas conveyed in different ways can be analyzed and we can derive meaning from it. It helps us in the process of conversation, and in language acquisition also it is used to learn like a human being and also develop language skills. For example, when you are going to a gym, you will learn how to who use equipments, and you will learn from people's interacting with them. You will perform your activities. That way, the language acquisition task can be performed using natural language processing, and language variation can also be detected. So it focuses on different languages spoken across different countries or cities, and analyzes the context in which the language is spoken. In order to resolve ambiguity, also natural language is used. So ambiguity is uh, there in the natural language because the some words or sentences may convey different meanings in different situations. So it has to be analyzed. So polysemy is another aspect where words may have multiple meanings. So in case of the ambiguity, two different things will convey the same meaning. So we have to resolve these problems. Now we'll discuss key elements of NLP. So there are several techniques to understand, analyze, and generate the outputs of natural language. We have the tokenization as a first step to split the given sentence or phrases or paragraphs into smaller units, which are words. For example, we may have verb or noun, adjective, adverb, and other form of words. So that can be easily analyzed by NLP models. The raw text is broken into smaller units. These are called the tokens. Then we'll apply parts of speech tagging to say whether a word is noun, verb, or adjective. We have some predefined form of words to attach as tag for words. And then we have named entity recognition to understand different kinds of entities, including people, people's name, organization name, place names, dates, or other names, for example, chemical name or disease names, etc. And then in sentiment analysis, we usually apply natural language processing to detect emotions, to understand whether the people is happy, unhappy, or angry in a particular situation. So we classify their emotion as positive, negative, or neutral. The next key element is text classification. In text classification, we classify the text according to a specific category. Um, for example, classifying the message as spam or non-spam based on the content. So if there is unusual content, then that will be classified as spam. In sentiment analysis, we also sometimes apply semantic analysis to understand the meaning behind words. We get a better understanding of words to analyze the relationship between words. We apply semantic analysis, and we also make use of contextual understanding to understand the uh, actual meaning of words. Then word embedding is popularly used to represent words as vectors. It helps the computer-based systems to understand and capture the relationship between words. And then in text generation, we use NLP to create text or speech based on the pattern involved in the text or speech. And then machine translation is another application where we use NLP to process the text and convert it into a target language. For example, Hindi to English or English to Tamil. So source language can be translated into target language. For example, Google Translate is one of the examples for that. And in language modeling also, we use NLP. So NLP uses language models. For example, large LLM, uh, large language modeling technique is most popular nowadays to create a language model. So we build publishing models to predict the next word in a sentence. That helps uh, the application to generate a language in some form. So NLP involves several levels. A phonological level where sound is used as an important unit, and morphological level where structure of the word is focused on analyzing the sentences or phrases, and then lexical level where the words are called lexemes. We will analyze word lexemes to understand the words, and then at syntactic level uh, we also analyze the structural pattern, which mainly uh, describes the grammatical structure of words, and at the semantic level we mainly apply a technique to understand the meaning. Contextual uh, analysis will be done. At the pragmatic level we focus on interpreting the data, even though we have ambiguity, so we have to resolve and we try to interpret the meaning from the text or the data. At the discourse level we also apply co-reference resolution or some kind of resolution technique to derive meaning from the data. At the world knowledge level also we apply knowledge extraction technique or information extraction to analyze the knowledge. So these are all various levels involved in interpreting the human language. We have various types of NLP. NLP can be uh, involved for language understanding, to understand the language, who said the speech, or what the text is conveying. So, and then it is also used for generating language in some form. For example, the language of uh, particular text can be analyzed, and then you can say what language it is. It can also generate human language in a textual form or speech. So natural language processing combines these two, mainly natural language understanding and the natural language generation, to generate the target outputs. And then natural language interaction helps us to bridge the gap between natural language engine and the people who interact with the computer or other devices. These are all types of NLP. Now we'll move on to discuss some steps involved in natural language processing. As we discussed earlier, so we have various key elements. So lexicon generated from the given text to understand the vocabulary, and then it also segments the words, phrases, words, or sentences into smaller units. So lexemes are inflected form of words. So when we have multiple forms of words that refers to the same individual unit of language, then we will go for this. Then we will generate lexemes. For example, running, run. These are all representing the same lexeme called run. And NLP algorithms are used to categorize these words into parts of speech. We split these lexemes into morphemes. Sometimes there may be multiple words combined to form a particular word. So individual unit of word can be considered for analyzing the structure of the word. So when you focus on a word, for example, unimaginable, or we have un as a word and imaginable as a word, so we have to break them into two units so that that cannot be further divided. uh, so in that way we do. And then we have morphemes. And there are two types of morphemes: free morphemes and bound morphemes. Morphemes, for example, generates word like this: from unimaginable we have un and imaginable. And imagine and able, these are combined to form the word unimaginable, so we have to break this into three units. So these are called morphemes. So if you divide like that, cannot be further divided. So in lexical analysis, we isolate the words into lexium phrases. For example, if from the sentences or from the paragraph, if we focus on this particular sentence, the understandable vocabulary that makes up a language, then the lexical analysis divides this phrase into words, which are called lexemes. For example, vocabulary, language, these are all categorized by noun parts of speech. Then we generate morphemes for the word. For example, unimaginable, we have the words and imagine and able. So the analysis also derives free morphemes, the words like word, vocabulary, and understand, able. These are all derived from this sentence. The next stage is syntactic analysis, in which we focus on analyzing how a language words are and how the phrases are arranged in a sentence using grammatical category, for example, subject, verb, object, or in some other form, verb phrase or noun phrase, like that. We analyze the syntax, word arrangements based on grammatical context. The sentence, for example, David wrote the exam, passes a syntactic analysis check, but the sentence David runs is not grammatically correct, syntactically correct. In semantic analysis, we analyze the meaning of words, understanding the relationship between words, phrases, or sentences in a paragraph. Similarly, if you have large amount of text, you can analyze the meaning of paragraph itself. This aims to understand the literal meaning of individual words, and it will not make use of the surrounding words to uh, analyze the semantics. Instead, it can use other relevant meaning to, or background knowledge to understand the meaning. Sometimes people use surrounding words to understand the meaning as well. For instance, the sentence Chennai calls out to David passes a syntactic analysis because this is grammatically correct, but it may not be semantically correct because Chennai is a place, it cannot call out to people, so the meaning is different, so it has to be analyzed. The next stage is discourse analysis and integration of words. So we can apply this mechanism to connect two or more things together. So discourse integration analyzes superior words sentences to understand the meaning of ambiguous language. For example, if one sentence states Chennai speaks to all its people, and the second sentence is it calls out to Devi, then this process checks the first sentence, analyzes the context to understand that the word it in the latter sentence refers to the word Chennai. So in that way, it connects two or more sentences and understands the meaning and helps us in the process of inference. And the pragmatic analysis is another stage where we apply a technique to interpret the intended meaning, and it attempts to derive the actual meaning of the language. It discovers who said the speech, or what meaning is conveyed from this sentence. For example, the sentence Chennai speaks to all its people. If you analyze applying the technique, natural language processing technique, the methods, neural network methods, like multi-layer perceptron, or backpropagation, or RNN, recurrent neural network, or LSTM, can analyze and assess the context to understand the sentence, the meaning of it, and the people interpret it in multiple ways. So pragmatic analysis reduces this sentence by saying something about something else. So it conveys how the people emotionally connect with the places, understanding the meaning.